Happy New Year, everybody. Let's start this year stress-free, shall we? Jump into your favorite sweater if you're not already, grab something to drink, and let's talk about the books that we want to read in the first month of 2025. Hey everyone, Fina here from Fina Reads. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for 2025, for the new releases that are coming out this year, for some of the series that I would like to tackle this year. If you're interested to hear more about the releases and the series I want to read in 2025, I have videos for that where I talk in more detail about these. You can find those in the description down below. There's a whole playlist that I put together. But today I specifically want to talk about the books that I'm planning for January. Let's start with the read-alongs. All of these are year-long read-alongs. That doesn't mean I will read every single book of these read-alongs. I picked the ones that I'm most interested in. And funny enough, they're all over on the Bookish Drummer Discord because they are either organized by Jake or Ian or Stacy or a combination of the three. And one of them, and that's the one I will start talking about, I had my fingers in as well. Because the first read-along is a year of John Marrs. In my 2025 series I want to read video, I talked about that I wanted to read the science fiction books by John Marrs because they are set in the same universe. Not that you have to read them in order or anything, but they are characters that show up across books basically, and there are some Easter eggs that you wouldn't necessarily notice if you wouldn't read the books in order, the sci-fi ones. John Marrs also wrote a bunch of thriller books, and when Stacy heard that I want to read the sci-fi books, she and I got to talk, and now it's a whole thing where we read basically all of his books throughout 2025. And because Stacy is amazing, and she always does the greatest things in general, she put together a video talking about the whole John Marrs readathon. So I'm linking that down below too, so you can see what all these books are, which book we read in which month, some more detail on the universe books versus the thriller books, and I hope you join us for some of them. Do not feel forced to join us for all of them. I'm fully aware that 13 books are a lot of books to commit to. I want to focus on the sci-fi books, but there are like 2 or 3 thrillers that I'm also interested in reading. And for January, the first book that is planned is When You Disappeared. That is one of his thrillers. The first sci-fi book that we're going to read is going to be the one in February, but I will talk about that in February. When You Disappeared is about a wife whose husband went out to go for his morning run, but his running shoes are still there. He isn't. And if I understand it correctly, you might even get the POV of the husband who is running away from his life, living his best life ever. At least that's what the descriptions is saying. Because what he told his wife was actually kind of a lie, and she doesn't really know him. So really roughly, that's what the premise is of the book. I would love to read it. Only problem is my library only has 1 copy, and 50 people are waiting for it. And it says several months till I get it. The other option to read it for free is via Kindle Unlimited. And they currently have this offer. I think it's their standard offer where you can read the first month for free. So I might sign up for that to read When You Disappeared. The next read along is Jake's and Stacy's Thrill, Chill, or Kill book club. They have been doing that for 2 years now, 3 years maybe even. And no surprise, they are also doing it in 2025. The January book is Kill for Me, Kill for You, which seems to be a very popular book club type of book. Premise here also sounds rather interesting. It's 2 women who meet by chance, and they get to talk and realize both of their husbands suck. So they do the, hey, if I kill your husband, can you kill my husband? Like, that seems to be kind of the premise. Similar issue here that my library seems to have only a handful of copies, and yeah, I'll see if I get to it in January. And the third read-along over in the Bookish Drummer Discord, and then I'm done, I promise, is the Stephen King read-along, and that is organized by Jake and Ian. In January, they are reading Different Seasons, which is a novella collection consisting of 4 novellas, and I do have 2 of them. One of them is A Pupil, and the other is The Body. Shawshank Redemption is part of that, and I'm blanking on the 4th novella that is part of Different Seasons. So I have these 2 that I haven't read yet, and Stephen King is a favorite author of mine, and I definitely want to read more of his books. Hence the Stephen King read-along, all those kind of things. But these 2 books that I'm hoping to get to in January. Next up, series that I want to read. There are a lot of series that I'm planning to read in January, but there are also a lot of series that I want to finish. Starting with Eric Carter. Book 9 is the last book in the Eric Carter series by Stephen Blackmore, which is cult classics. I'm currently, as we are filming this, in the middle of reading book 8, which I will talk about in my December wrap-up. And I'm excited for this series to end, but I'm also sad because I really enjoyed the main character, which is Eric Carter, who's a necromancer. He is snarky. I love the conversations that he has. He's very flippant, but he's also very wholesome, and you can only love him. He goes through a lot of shit in this series, and yeah, you feel for him at the end. And I'm really excited to see how this series ends and what's at stake for him. Another quick mention is Malazan. In December, I finished the first half of Midnight Tights, so January is the second half of Midnight Tights. This is a series that I do want to finish by the end of 2025, so I am scheduling one book for over a 2-month time frame. So it's always first half in 1 month, second half in the next month, kind of to force myself to go through that. And with Midnight Tights, or like more the ending of the first half, it's the first time that I was actually sitting there. I was like, oh, I think I'm starting to get the appeal of Malazan. And it was a very cool story arc, so I'm really excited to see how it continues in the second half of Midnight Tights. Another one of those continuation series is the Icewind Dale trilogy by R.A. Salvatore. That is part of the Drizzt universe. It's the second trilogy. I've read Crystal Shard, which is the first book of the Icewind Dale trilogy, in December. And the second book is Streams of Silver. So I want to continue reading that trilogy, and, just over the next weeks or months, I want to finish that trilogy out so I can then go into the next, and to the next, and so on, and so on, and so on. Another one that I just want to continue, and I know it has been on this list a couple of times by now, and I somehow never continued, is Andrew Rose. Again, I'm blanking on what the bigger series is called, but I want to read the 4 that start with Sufficiently Advanced Magic, which I've already read, and book 2 is On the Shoulders of Titans, so I want to really continue with that one. This is a lit RPG fantasy. It started out with a school setting and some cool tournaments and whatnot, and I really enjoyed it, and I want to continue reading these books, especially since I own them now. Reading your shelf, even though it's a digital one in this case. The next series is one that I'm really excited, but also really worried about, because it's from a very hyped author. It's fine if you don't like hyped authors, but you have a certain set of expectations that come with the hype. So I'm hoping that I'm not, over-exaggerating on that excitement, but just enjoy the read for what it is. And that is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. And I'm actually really excited about these new versions that they came out, because I never really liked the covers. I'm reading this together with a colleague. We're both very excited of dipping our toe into the Cosmere. I've only read 3 of the 4 secret novels that were kind of standalones and that were not spoiling anything. I know nothing about the Cosmere. I know a couple of character names, but that's pretty much it. I don't want to. I've survived that long without spoiling myself about the series or what the Cosmere is or what's actually happening or what's going on. But, you only hear good things about it. But I'm, again, hoping it's not overly hyped and I'm not sitting here with expectations that are unrealistic for what this series is. So yeah, hoping that I'm going to have a good time with this one. A few more series continuation of books that I've started in December. One is, I actually don't know what the series is called, Daedrith? I don't know, Elizabeth Wheatley's book 2 in whatever the series is called. It's Daedrith Outlaw. It's a romantasy, essentially, indie published. She has a hilarious Instagram channel. That's actually how I got to know her. I didn't even know she was an author till at one point she talked about it. And I got book 1 from the library. It was great. It was nothing like where I'm sitting here is like the best book ever or anything, but it was good enough that I got myself physical copies, as you can see, because she just had them on a year-end sale. So, yeah, I know I said I'm not going to buy any more books, but they're fun and they're really nice. So that is a really nice print quality. That is romantasy number 1. And then the other romantasy that I'm currently reading is The Last Luminian series. This one actually tells me what this series is called, by S.G. Blaze. Again, very similar to the Daedrith series, that I enjoyed it enough to want to know how it continues and how the journey for our characters continues, how the love story develops, all that kind of fun stuff. Also indie published. This is more sci-fi, whereas the Daedrith one is more fantasy aligned. A standalone for a change that I want to read is So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. The library hold literally just came through, but I will read it in January. I just picked it up already before it goes away again. I have been waiting for quite some time now for this library hold to come through. Rachel Harrison is an author that I've already read 2 books from. She writes kind of women fiction with fantasy elements. It's always kind of paranormal, a woman in trouble of some sort. They solve their issue and live a better life. Very terrible summary of at least what the first 2 books were about. So Thirsty uses vampires as the supernatural theme, so I'm really excited to see how her latest book holds up. What a mix out of everything. I mean, oh my goodness. I don't think I will be bored in January. I have a lot of good genres to pick from. I have a lot of really fast, entertaining reads. I have some gritty fantasy series that I can bite my teeth into, so I'm really excited about what's going on in January. If you want to see which ones I ended up reading and which ones maybe moved into February or I didn't read at all, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can check that out during my January wrap-up. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you have an amazing switch over to 2025, all calm and settled, no stress. We want to start the new year with positive spirits. And I hope I'll see you soon with my next video. Till then, bye!